It's late at night. You think you're safe. You turn the lights out, and then you hear scream and shout. No one's home. You're alone. Lay back down, pull up your sheets. Your knees start to feel weak. You can feel your heartbeat. Is your door closed? You feel your feet exposed. Now you're in a state. It's much, much too late. You can't escape this deadly fate. Warning, the following podcast contains strong language which may be offensive to some viewers and or inappropriate for children. The content within this podcast is intended for mature audiences only. Welcome back to Sinister Ghouls, Twisted Sisters, your paranormal, true crime, and everything creepy podcast. I am your host today, Ghouli Gonzo, and I'm by myself. So, I just want to make sure everybody is aware that we have some new cover art. It's pretty dope, pretty creepy. I'm going to put them on some t-shirts, I believe. So anyways, it is like 11 a.m. on a Wednesday. And I have this story that I really wanted to tell you guys. Well, it's not a story. It's, it was actually a documentary I watched. But I'm going to tell you about it. I'm not drinking anything, just some water. Actually, it's iced tea and water mixed. And yeah, I just cleaned my house. And you know what I'm doing now? Right after this, I'm going to go through my Halloween decorations. Because if you know me, you know I'm decorating within the next week. Now, my podcast room is always decorated for freaking horror, everything. Halloween, horror, whatever. But now I'm going to decorate my house and the porch, the outside, everything. So let me get into this, okay? On October 12th, 2007, 22-year-old Janet Moses was a 14-year-old female, and she died. She was injured during the pronunciation that I looked up is Makutu. And that is, just so you know, of New Zealand, and I believe it's the Maori language, meaning witchcraft, sorcery, to bewitched, incantation, spell or incantation. It may also be described as a belief in a malignant cult powers possessed by certain people. So that's what Makutu means. And so she was injured, during this Makutu. And it was a lifting. Or in other words, let me rephrase this. It's like an exorcism, right? In Wellington, New Zealand, suburb of Wainuiomata, in 2009, 9 members of Moses' extended family, all siblings of her mother or their spouses, were charged in the relation to the event. 1 uncle and 4 aunts were subsequently found guilty of manslaughter. So let's get into this, okay? The Makutu lifting and subsequent trial were notable for bringing the Makutu into public awareness in New Zealand. The large number of independent people who stepped forward to distance Makutu lifting as they knew it from the events in the case, unprecedented media attention was paid to Makutu lifting in Maori religion. So the Maori language, the word and all of that, it's historically the Tonga involved in lifting Makutu were suppressed by the Tohunga Suppression Act in 1907, which was repealed in 1962. So let's get into it. So in the period prior to the Makutu lifting, Janet Moses, she had suffered the loss of her grandmother and relationship problems with her partner and father of her 2 children. So she was having some things go on that, if you want to look into it, like, not just New Zealand, people here, documentaries, possessions, things like that. When you get into a dark place and you have, anger or resentment or trust issues, bad relationships, families, relationships, any relationships, you know what I mean? Or you're just depressed. This stuff can really can affect you in a negative way. Um, so the trial would later hear experts' testimony that she likely had an underlying psychiatric or psychological disorder. So there was weird concrete lion that was taken or stolen from Greytown Hotel by family members. And this was to become associated by family members with Moses' behavior. The family said she was acting like a lion. The family emblem was a lion, with at least one family member having a tattoo of a lion and the word family united written with it or tattooed with it. So when they became concerned with her behavior, Moses' family consulted Kayumatu elder Timirahi, who prayed for her and blessed her. He advised the family to return that lion, which they did. Which honestly, they should have never even freaking taken it. To be honest, don't mind me. I'm just eating some candy right now, even though I'm by myself. My diabetic ass is still eating some old-fashioned root beer candies. I know. Diabetic shouldn't be eating candy. So they returned it, like I said. Rahi instructed the family that it was their responsibility to carry out this healing. Now, I don't really know if I believe in that. Again, this is all public knowledge and whatnot. These are just my opinions. I am not a professional. You know what I'm saying? It's just me talking and just, giving you my opinion. So I don't really think it was really the family's responsibility to carry out her healing. You know what I'm saying? So after Rahi left, a prolonged Makutu lifting was performed by her predominantly maternal family at the Wanuamata flat of Moses. It sounds crazy, of Moses. I mean, her last name is Moses. So, at the flat of her grandmother, there was no evidence as to who suggested that Moses was possessed or suffering from a curse, or who suggested that they should do the Makutu lifting, you know what I'm saying, or that it was required to have been done. In other words, Makutu exorcism. So, all right, nobody knows who said that was required. The ceremony was improvised, as none of these people involved had any actual freaking knowledge of the procedure for Makutu lifting. So during the ceremony, so much water was used that the carpet had been soaked and was used. I mean, so it was soaked, and so a small hole in the floor had to be made for drainage. That's crazy. Oh my God. They had to drill a freaking hole. The woman's eyes were injured as people picked at the demons they saw in them. What? Oh my God. And neighbors heard rhythmic stomping and thumping throughout the night. What do you mean this poor woman's eyes were injured as people were picking at them because they saw the demons in them? I'm pretty sure her whole freaking family had a lot of mental things going on. That's crazy. Psychological things, I mean. That's insane. About 8 a.m. on October 12th in 2007, Janet Moses died by drowning. Holy moly. Her father, who had traveled from the Christ Church through the night to support his daughter, was not informed until his arrival at 4:30 p.m. This was 9 hours after the death. The police were called. 9 hours. That's crazy, you guys. 9 hours? I don't know. I mean, what? I don't know. But so, listen, if you guys want to watch a documentary on this, which I'm still going to keep talking about it, but it's called Belief, the Possession of Janet Moses. I just think the whole the whole thing is 9 hours later, you guys. Whew, I don't know. So the documentary, if you want me to go into that a little bit, oh, hold on. So the possession of Janet Moses is this documentary that lifts the veil of secrecy on what became known as the Wanuamata exorcism, to reveal the extraordinary true story of how both love and fear could drive a New Zealand family to unwittingly kill one of their own, which, in my opinion, is what happened. Um, Janet was obviously suffering from a mental disorder. Her not Wanua believed she fallen under the curse of Makutu because her sister had stolen the lion. That's who stole the lion. So it's crazy. The madness of Janet's last days were put into this documentary. So, you know, between the outsiders, the police, the lawyers, community, spiritual leaders, and the people that were inside within those four walls. Janet's aunt Glennie, Uncle John, and a 14-year-old girl. So, in desperate bid to free Janet from them, evil spirits that were taking over, the young men of the family stood guard at the front door. That's crazy. Oh, so it went for 4 nightmarish days and nights. The young mother lies on a bed in the lounge while 30 or more family members chant, stomp, and pray. Again, we already know that they used water. It becomes a weapon to fight evil. So, as up to 6 people held Janet down, sitting on her arms, legs, and chest, her wanua form of human chain, handing each other buckets, pots, containers to pour liters of water into her eyes and down her throat. Oh, this is fucking insane. This is insane. Okay. Like waterboarding. At other times, the struggle against them speaking in tongues and fueling their fight. Temperatures soaring in the atmosphere, reaching, like a fever type temperature inside this lounge room of this flat where this woman, Janet, has been kept. A neighbor describes hearing what they thought was a war dance. I think that's considered to be like a haka. The fourth night, Janet is now dead. She was accidentally drowned, like I said. Her grandfather's bed sit is flooded with water, vomit, and urine, but the horror is far from over, leaving Janet's body lying in that lounge. The Wanau, sorry, now turn their attention on a 14-year-old girl in the house. They believe the Makutu has now infected her. The documentary follows Janet's story through the police's investigation, arrests, and trial in what was dubbed in court of crime of love. The question of whether Janet was suffering from mental illness or evil curse was left unanswered. In an unprecedented move, the Wellington High Court accepted that the family believed they were fighting a Makutu, and in doing so accidentally killed their loved one when they were trying so hard to save her. So that's actually really sad, in my opinion. But the movie or the documentary is called Belief, the Possession of Janet Moses. So if you're interested in looking into that, I would look into that and watch it. So let's go into a little bit of the trial. So much of it was centered on the issue of consent. Whether Moses was willingly or willing to be a participant in this specific ritual. So it went for 29 days and involved 101 witnesses, many of them giving testimony relating to cultural and religious practices. The jury deliberated for 20 hours before finding 5 of the 8 maternal family members guilty of manslaughter. Another family member was discharged by the judge in mid-trial. But none of the convicted family members received custodial sentences. The judge instead handed down community-based sentences. At the trial, Janet's paternal grandfather, his name was Charlie Moses, went and took a stance supporting the defendants. We've made our peace with them. This is his quotes, right? We made our peace with them. They didn't know what they were doing, even though I told them not to go down that road. They chose to do it anyway. For that mistake, they're going to pay for the rest of their lives, and I wish them well all the same. Okay, so one of them had, I don't want to say common sense because I don't want to diss, certain beliefs or things, but I just feel like that's crazy. I don't know. As is common in New Zealand court cases, a number of those connected to the case have name suppression to prevent identification of people that are not old enough, underage victims. Um, the eventual coroner's inquest strongly recommended that the family consult experts or experienced elders before taking action on suspected Makutu. Both Pau Tamara, professor of Maori language and tradition at the Waikato University, and Rawiri Tanui, head of Canterbury University School of Maori and Indigenous Studies, said that the advice was sensible and that Maori would continue Makutu lifting practices. So, I mean, I don't know. It's technically possible that it could help. I believe in exorcism. So who am I, to say anything? You know what I mean? Like, I believe people can become possessed. But I do think that there is I don't know, a very thin line because mental illness is very well known in the world right now with like a lot of people. And I mean, when it comes to physically seeing somebody, you know, lift off the ground or have I? No, I have not. But people speaking other languages they've never learned. That's been a case. Or hearing just a different sound of their voice, a guttural sound that's just not them. You know what I mean? Um, like I've said, my very, very favorite scary movie is The Exorcist. I am Christian. I was brought up Catholic. First communion, all of that, baptized. But 2010, I became Christian. I still have all of those beliefs. I believe the devil is everywhere, and I believe the people that are bad, people that do horrible things, I think they have been taken over. So I can't really say much about, if that's crazy that they blah blah blah. But it's sad that a young woman had to die, a mother over this. Yeah, it's just horrible. So let's go into this one. Joanna Lee, also known as Kumo Okili, 1963 to December 2000, was a South Korean woman who died in, like I said, December 2000, Auckland, New Zealand, during a prolonged and violent exorcism carried out by Luke Lee, also known as Young Bum Lee, no relation to the victim, pastor of, in quotes, Lord of All, a small Christian sector. 2001, Pastor Lee was convicted of her manslaughter. 2006, his conviction was overturned by New Zealand's Court of Appeal and retrial ordered, but by that time he had already been deported to South Korea. So, in early 2000 or December 2000, Pastor Lee determined that Joanna Lee was possessed by at least 20 demons. On the 8th of December, Pastor Lee began an exorcism at a hall rented by his church in Auckland. The following day, the exorcism moved to his rental home in the suburbs of Mount Roskill, whatever. Over the next 6 hours, in the presence of a small group of worshippers, he sat on her freaking chest and her abdomen, bounced on her body. He was breaking her bones, several. He then strangled her with his freaking hands. Pastor Lee later said he wasn't sure that Joanna had died and instructed his followers to videotape her corpse to document her expected resuscitation. Her decomposing body was found by police in Pastor Lee's home on the 15th of December after a visitor to the house raised the alarm that she had been dead for a week, leading the worshippers to clean her body with alcohol and attempt to remove the odor of decomposition. Wow. No friends or relatives could be contacted to claim Lee's body or make funeral arrangements. In mid-2001, the Auckland Korean community performed a Christian funeral service for her, and her body was cremated. As of late 2001, her ashes were still unclaimed. That's fucking insane. I mean, I'm a Christian. What do you mean you're breaking her bones and sitting on her chest and strangling her? What? Pastor Lee was subsequently charged with manslaughter in relation to Joanna's death. He represented himself in court and took little part in the trial, speaking only to deliver his closing statement or message. However, he predicted that Joanna Lee would rise from the dead during his trial. So he must have mental illness. There's something going on there, sir. In December 2001, he was found guilty, sentenced to 6 years. 6 years of imprisonment. What? Oh, 6 years. Then you had people years ago getting put away for years and years and years for marijuana. Oh. In January 2005, he was deported from New Zealand to South Korea, at which time he was in the process of appealing his conviction. April 2006, the Court of Appeal overturned that conviction and ordered a retrial. The court stated that Joanna Lee's possible consent to the exorcism has not been properly considered during the first trial. However, as Pastor Lee and most of the surviving witnesses have left New Zealand, Crown prosecutors determined it would be difficult to arrange a retrial. A bench warrant was issued for Lee's arrest and that he should return to New Zealand, at which point a retrial may take place. So, it's crazy. It's crazy. Exorcism preachers, manslaughter conviction overturned. These are just some references. The Journal of Criminal Law. Let's see. Massey University Networking Journal. It's newspaper.com. Both of these, Wikipedia. It's just crazy because I feel like, what do you do? Like Emily, well, it's not really Emily Rose. It's a whole different story. But if you watch The Possession of Emily Rose, she also had a similar situation happen. But I'm going to do an episode, and I think I'll wait to see if JoJo wants to do that episode or not. I don't believe I've done it. If you go back to our first few episodes of the podcast when we first started, she had a situation pop up when she was left alone. She watched that movie during the day. It's pretty crazy. She's very scared of it, and I don't freaking blame her. Let me just drink some of my drink. So, I kind of want to do that with her, but if she's scared, I'll just do that with a special spanking boy, special red doo-doo head, ghoul, or gabagool. And that's probably a good one for fall. That's the thing, too, is if you guys have some cool fall or Halloween ideas that you want to hear me, do, or us do, we are trying to now be more in depth, remind you that we are not professionals, remind you that we can be fucking rude, and that we laugh at everything. Nobody here is trying to be, a smart ass. Well, I mean, I'm a smart ass, but we don't intentionally ever want to hurt anybody, you know what I mean? Or disrespect cases, deaths, things like that. We respect everybody, and we love everybody. We have no reason not to. Just like I used to say, if I don't have any reason to have a problem with somebody, I literally love everybody. And we are going to try to do some more in-depth, episodes here and there. But again, we're here to have fun. Right now I'm doing this by myself with my squeaky, stupid fucking chair. And I was just bored. I was going to wait and do one with Special Spanking Boy. But I just thought I'd take some alone time with you guys and, talk about these couple things. I'm going to rewatch that Belief possession of Janet Moses because it is the season. But I feel like possessions are, you know, they are common. I mean, it depends on what you believe. I believe there's small possessions, big possessions. Like I remember looking back right now actually on oh my god, Paranormal State, Ryan Buell. I still love the show. I'm gonna start it over and watch it again. I love Chip Coffee. Um I really love the show. And Chip Coffee's also in what is it? Psychic Children. That's a good one too. But anyways, listen, you can find us on Spotify, YouTube, Audible, Pandora, iHeartRadio, um, Amazon Music, Google Pod, Instagram, Sinister Ghouls Podcast, Facebook group, Sinister Ghoul / Twisted Sister, and email us at sinisterghoul23@gmail.com for your wicked tales. And if I forgot to say all of that because I'm all over the fucking map today. I don't know if you guys can hear my dog. Listen, he's naughty. I love him. He just turned. It was just his birthday on the 17th. He's 13 years old. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? So, anyways, yeah, wicked tales, things like that. Put them, send them to the email. But I'm over here trying to do this podcast, Big Mouth. Are you gonna go near? I love you. Say hi to my listeners. No. Okay. So I feel like a lot of my favorite movies are possession movies. People like gore, slasher, suspense thriller, psychological. I'm a paranormal person, supernatural. I like that shit. But I did get my boyfriend to watch Night of the Demons all the way through because I have to watch it in August and then I have to watch it again in October. And I want to watch the second one with him. There's Night of the Demons original, Night of the Demons 2, Night of the Demons 3, and then the remake with Shannon Elizabeth, Night of the Demons. I believe that's early 2000s or some shit. I actually don't even remember when that is. But I also like the Italian movie called Demons, takes place in a movie theater. I love Demons 2. It is the season, you guys. And if you are interested in going back to our last fall movie listing episode, we give you tons. So, and there has been a lot more, updated movies. So maybe we'll do another little episode of some newer movies or things that I've seen that have come out in the last year that I think are pretty dope. It takes a lot to scare me. I don't really get scared. I have a problem. Haunted houses. I mean, I don't really get scared. But if I do get scared, guess what I get scared over? Paranormal stuff. Paranormal stuff. You know what I mean? Paranormal. Possession. Possession. I don't know what it is. The thought of, not having control over your body or, being, I don't know, it's scary, There is a book, actually. I wonder if I have it right here. Hold on. Nope, that's not it. My sister gave me a book, you guys, and it is creepy as fuck. Oh, here it is, I think. Nope, that's not it. It's about a girl's perspective of feeling like she's becoming possessed. And it's fucking crazy. It's crazy. It really freaking is. Oh, shoot. I have a, whatever. Okay. I'm going to go into other crap. So, I want to say that I appreciate you guys. Our listeners that are still listening. We are me, Special Spanking Boy, Doo-Doo Head, Sexy Special Spanking Boy, who's Eagle, and then Jojo Ghoul and Poopy Ghoul, us four, are going to be going to dun 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 Sleepy Hollow. I'm closing this door on you, Big Mouth. because I'm sick of hearing it. Sorry. Sorry, everybody. So we're going to Sleepy Hollow this October. And we're going 2 nights, and we plan to do TikTok videos. So I'm going to be starting a TikTok. So I would look up Sinister Ghouls, either Sinister Ghouls Twisted Sisters podcast. Actually, I think I might just do something simple. It might just be like Twisted Sisters. I don't know. You know what I mean? Or SGTS. You know what I mean? Whatever. We'll figure it out. I will post it in my groups, and I will let you know next episode how to find us on TikTok. Other than that, you guys, we freaking love you. We want to hear your feedback on some episodes you want us to do. And I'm trying to think of what else. Listener support, you can go to Ghouli 23 at Venmo. It's GHOULI 23. I am in a black tank top with some fake eyelashes on. Yep. Okay. Now I'm going to go through my Halloween decorations, see what I have, see what I need to buy more of, and probably bake some fucking cookies. Because my diabetic ass needs it, right? Okay. I love you guys, and I hope you guys have a fantastic day and a ghoul evening. Always stay safe, stay sexy, and stay spooky.